And I am back with Star Wars Armada, How to Play Part 3. So I am going to be going over commands, attacking, and moving in that order. So keep watching if you do not know how to do any of those, if this is your first game, or if you want a refresher. So I'm going to get right into the commands. So commands are these things that you do to activate your ship. You would flip over one of these command dials, that's what they're called, to activate your ship. That signals that that ship is starting its turn. And you have 4 types of commands. You have your navigate, your concentrate fire, your repair, and squadron. So these commands, these are tokens, by the way, the command tokens. You can use these later in your turn, or basically whenever you want to during the game, if you have one next to your ship. The navigate token you can use to adjust your speed value, so you can increase or decrease the speed by 1, and increase the yaw value by 1. So that's basically how far right or left your ship turns. Your concentrate fire is you can roll 1 extra attack dice during 1 attack, but that has to be out of the color that you're already using. Your repair tokens or commands you can use to repair your ship, heal damage cards. You get as many engineering points that is on your ship card when you use that command. So 3 engineering points will heal a damage card, 2 will get you back a shield, and 1 engineering point will move a shield from one hull zone to another, but it has to be adjacent. You can't move the front shield to the back, and you can't go over the maximum amount of shields. Your squadron tokens or commands will activate. If you're using the commands, they will activate 1 squadron in range of yours. If you're using the commands, not the tokens. If you're using the commands, you can activate as many squadrons that is on your ship card, listed under your squadron value. So it's different for all these ships. So that's your commands. When you flip this over at the start of your ship turn, you can choose to use them right away, like your squadron command and your repair command, or you can choose to use them later, like your navigate and concentrate fire commands. So that's all of that out of the way. And also, your ships, depending on what size they are, get multiple command dials. So your smallest type of ship, which will be the small ship, will show you how many commands you get. So for the Corvette, you get 1 command dial. For the Victory Star Destroyer, you get 3. So you can stack them on top of one another too. And after you reveal one, and after you do it, you can turn it to a different one and simply place it back on the bottom of your stack. You cannot, however, look at these commands if you're playing a normal game. If this is a starting game or just a game for fun, then you probably can. So, that said, the next thing that you're going to do on your turn is attacking. If there is an enemy ship in range, just say your Nebulon B wants to attack this Star Destroyer, who most definitely is an enemy ship, and you would use this, it's called a range ruler, to see if you're in range. So basically you can tell that since you're within that range ruler, you are within range of the enemy ship. And what you can do is you get 2 attacks per ship. So each of those attacks have to come out of a different hull zone. So this first attack would be coming out of your front hull zone, since that's the only one facing the enemy ship, and you would target the enemy ship's side hull zone. And the way you do that is you take that little yellow dot right there, and you would measure to see if it's not blocked by anything. So like If another ship was in the way, that would be considered blocked. Or if a obstacle, like an asteroid, was in the way, that'd be blocked too. So once you have your target and you know which hull zone you're firing out of, you can roll your attack dice. And the Nebulon B would get 3 red attack dice. And another thing that's determined by the range roller is how many dice you use. At close range, which is the longest thing here, shows 3 symbols, blue, red, and black. That's the types of attack dice you can roll. And there is only 3 types, and they all come in the base game, and they're right there. So after you get past close, you have medium. You can only roll blues and reds at medium. And at long range, you can only roll red dice. So the Nebulon B is good to go. He can roll his 3 red attack dice, and he would do that basically like that. And he gets a really big number of hits. So if you were actually playing the game, that would be a really good roll right there. So you can attack like that, or you can attack squadrons. So your second attack can be, you can attack as many squadrons. Basically, the rules are not very clear on this, but I'm getting is you can attack as many squadrons as you want to out of one hull zone that has not already targeted a ship. So you can do a ship and a squadron attack, or 2 ship attacks, but they have to be out of different hull zones. So with this, you would roll different dice. You would go down here and look at your anti-squadron dice. That's the blue symbol. So for the Nebulon B, because you are in close range, you're good. You can roll your 2 blues. And the thing is about squadrons, they're not affected by major hits or critical hits. They're only affected by normal hits and accuracies. And they're only affected by accuracies if they have these things called defense tokens. So because this is a normal TIE Fighter squadron, if you were to roll that against him, that'd be basically a 0. No hits taken is a complete miss. So attacking is pretty much done, but what if you say, what if your attack is blocked by a asteroid or an obstacle or another ship? So for an obstacle, you would roll 1 less dice. It'd be called obstructed, so your attack is obstructed. So if this was a ship, like the Star Destroyer, instead of the TIE Fighter, you would roll 1 less dice. So you would roll only 2 reds instead of your 3 reds. And if you're completely out of range, so the way you measure range is you go from the yellow dot or the base of the ship to the base of the other ship. So with the Star Destroyer is like way out here. You can't possibly hit him. So your attack would be obstructed and out of range. So you can't just do that. That's like illegal. So I think that's it about attacking. That's pretty much all the stuff that I can think of for attacking. Those squadrons attacking ships, that's a big difference there. So your squadron card, the red symbol will show you how much dice to use when attacking a ship, and your blue symbol is how many dice to use attacking a squadron. Okay, so moving on to your defensive tokens and your damage cards over here. If you are unlucky enough to get hit during your defense and you are a ship or a squadron, if you're a special squadron, you will have something called defense tokens. These are the green tokens, and there's different types, but the only ones that the ships use in the base game are these 3. Those are evade, brace, and redirect. The evades can cancel a dice at long range or reroll 1 at medium. So you would use that by flipping it over to red, and these get flipped back over at the end of every round. The braces cut damage in half. So if you had 4 damage rolled for attack dice, you could use that to defend it. and cut it in half so you'd only take 2. Your redirect tokens are the trickiest ones. So if you used a redirect, say I got 2 damage on the side of this Nebulon B, you can take 1 of that shield damage there, and you can use your redirect token and take the second of that damage on another shield. Even though Nebulon Bs don't use redirect tokens, I'm just using that as an example. So it basically spreads damage out amongst the ship. If you use a defense token while it's flipped over to red, you discard it for the complete game. So it's like you can't use it anymore. You cannot use the same defense token twice against the same attack. So you can't be using a double brace. That just wouldn't work. So damage cards, if your shields are down and you take damage from an attack and you cannot defend it all the way to cancel it, you would take damage cards. Your normal hits, which are these, you would only take face down damage cards, and once you get to the maximum of your hull, that ship's destroyed. So the Nebulon Bs only have space to take 5 damage cards before they're destroyed. If you have a critical hit, that's the one with the line through it, you would instead flip that damage card over and read the effects. So like this one says you discard all your command tokens. And that also counts as a hit. So you would have the damage and the effect on your ship. And unless you repair it or overlap the station while moving your ship, if you're using the station, unless you do those, the damage card stays with you. Okay, so I know it's a lot, but I am going to also do moving. So moving you do at the end of your ship's turn when you have finished attacking or after you can't attack. So if you're moving, you would look at, first thing you would do is flip over your speed dial. So that's a speed dial. You only do this at the end of your turn when you're about to move. It tells you how fast you can move, how far you can move, and how far you can turn. So for Star Destroyer, you got a 1. So then you would go look at his movement track thingy. I'm not quite sure what you call it. You would see under 1, it shows a 1 mark. So that means your Star Destroyer can move up to the 1 on your movement stick. That's what this is. And if you want to, you can click it once. So you can basically turn. So because you have a 1 symbol next to that, that means you can click it once, either right or left. So you can go straight and then turn. And how you move is you slide the little indents from the 0 to the top of the 1, and it goes all the way up to 4. And you can also do a 0 maneuver. That's where you just stay where you are. So if you flip over a 0 maneuver, you stay where you are, but if you are attacked while at a 0, you cannot use defense tokens. And you can't do a 0 your next turn. So it's sort of something like where you only use it in emergencies when you're not getting attacked or when you're waiting for somebody else to move into range. Okay, so almost everything. I'm almost done, guys. The last thing before you go is if you run over something, it's going to be bad. You're going to take some damage cards. So say this big giant Star Destroyer decides he wants to not drive right, and he's going to do his 1 there, and he's going to run over this asteroid or debris cloud, whatever you call it. It's a pile of stuff in space that you're not supposed to be running over, but he'll run that over. And what he does is there's different effects for the asteroids and the debris clouds. You would either automatically take a damage card or roll a dice to see if you got damaged. But that's what it does. If you run over the station that looks like this, it's a bit weird looking. If you run over that and you have a damage card, you can discard that damage card. So you're running over the station heals your ship. All right, that is about it. Please subscribe to help the channel. It is free, and I will continue to put out Lego Star Wars, Armada, and X-Wing videos in the future. Thank you for watching. Bye.